meeting. Also note that Carterton District Council, Porirua City Council and New Zealand Transport Agency all abstain from voting on the submission as well. Yes. Next up, just to highlight paragraph 75, the Hikurangi Drain walking cycling link. I'd just like to acknowledge and thank the councillors that attended alongside our Manager of Transport Strategy in the last week or so for a meeting with the residents bounding that proposed pathway. On the back of that conversation, which was a really good conversation from what I've heard, I didn't participate myself, we've absolutely taken on board the feedback that we've had. I've instructed staff to actually stop construction of the link of the pathway to the west of Holsworth Avenue, especially given there is already a nearby access that is absolutely usable by the public. I've also, on the back of that conversation, asked our Manager Transport Strategy to have another conversation with the principal of Ferguson Intermediate School, just to confirm that the intermediate is keen to have access to the east of Holsworth Avenue into the school. That conversation has now taken place and the principal has confirmed that the school is very interested to have that access. So next steps from here is that we will be having a conversation with the neighbour that immediately bounds Ferguson Intermediate, who my understanding is quite open to the prospect of having a path there, especially if we install some kind of fence, new fence along the boundary. I think those were all the highlights that I wanted to make in the report. Thank you, okay. Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Just with that 75 Hikurangi Drain, the neighbouring residents, were they happy with the inclusion that you did?
My understanding is that they were. One of the residents had initially signalled that he wanted to come to this committee to voice his concern around the track. However, on the back of the conversation that took place, he concluded that he no longer needed to come today.
That's good. Good. Okay. I'll open up to the floor. Any questions?
Yes, through you, Chair. Thank you. Yes, that's a good decision for all of that down Holsworth Ave, and that they were to me, it looked, without even telling them, it looked like it was a no-brainer not to annoy people that don't need to be annoyed, spend probably $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 on something that we actually do have an access in Bailey Grove next street. So this is a good decision. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. On Beechwood Lane on para 30, the shuttle service will be provided from 8 AM to 5 PM for cyclists. 8 PM seems a little bit too late, starting in the day, and people can't access it any other way. I imagine if people are leaving for school, they'll be leaving well before 8 if they're heading towards our primary schools. Is there any thought to that?
Yes, thank you, through you, Chair. That is a good point. I understand that the shuttle service has been well used, but the primary users, how this is to the point that you're making, have been recreational cyclists and cyclists accessing the Rimutaka Trail. If it's okay through you, Mr. Chair, I might query that just to see if there has been any demand or feedback around actually having an earlier service available, particularly in terms of accessing for schools and what have you.
Yeah, thank you.
Just on para 67, just for you to pass on thanks to the team for the trees that were removed from Pinehaven Road. I had residents come and both email and come and see me and say thank you very much for that. They feel much safer now that their houses are not in danger from it. And a big thanks to the team for what was quite a large job.
That's good.
Yeah, thank you. Just 35 on integrated transport strategy. I understand that the work's going to be stopped or will no longer continue, whenever you want to put it. Will we be able to see what's been completed to date? Has the draft strategy been completed? I feel like it's been going on for a while, and we'd just like to do something tangible out of those out of what's been worked on so far? Something tangible.
Through you, Mr. Chair. It'd be fair to say that where the integrated transport strategy is at there's a significant amount of work that's been put into it. It's in a number of different components, subcomponents making up the strategy. As I've discussed with the Transport Strategy Manager, it is fantastic work that has been done. However, it's, in my opinion, not in a position where I would want to bring it as a strategy to council. However, the work that is made up the strategy is absolutely hugely valuable, and we are continuing to refer to it as we go on in our day-to-day operations. So while my preference would be not to bring it to committee or council, because in my mind it's not a polished, complete product, I'd be happy, I guess, informally to run through or discuss how it's being utilised.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any further questions? Councillor, Councillor.
Para 88, talking about the Seaview wastewater treatment plant, just to inform this committee that at Hutt Valley Services Committee Friday fortnight, the Services Committee requested Wellington Water to come back with a paper detailing all the individual projects. We estimated the cost and timeframes year by year over the 10-year LTP period. So we get some daylight on actually what has been proposed by Wellington Water and what are all the costs and the timeframes as well. Because we have asked for that information and have got it. We've just got bold figures that we've put on the long-term plan. So it'll be interesting to see them come back for the May Hutt Valley Services Committee.
Good question. Good question. I'll move the report being received. Secondly, Councillor Holderness, all in favour?
Aye.
Pass. Right, we'll move to item 5, Director Support Community Services. I'll open to explore the questions. Just as I moved before, just on number 10, crisis food space. I think that's going to be something that we have to, as a council, just be very conscious with the increase of 64% in the food bank, that it could be something that we need to be looking at in the future. So,
And if I can add, Chair, there is anecdotal feedback that some of the people that both Arama Marae, Upper Hutt Food Bank and Salvation Army are seeing are not usual users of those services and are not necessarily on benefits as well, which has been the traditional cohort of people that have accessed those facilities.
Councillor,
Just on the same matter, could the director confirm whether or not the Timberlea Community Health, the community centre is being used, because they have tucker time on 2 days a week, and I'm just wondering whether or not you are liaising with them, who have also seen an increase in the services being provided.
Through you, Chair, I will check, but I am sure that the staff member within community development that is right across that food space is very much aware and connecting with, but I will check.
Councillor,
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Through you to the director, is there any kind of work or discussion had about linking up with supermarkets or local restaurants just about food that would otherwise be wasted? Is there any talk about making sure that could be best utilised in that space?
Through you, Chair, we have a very, very strong relation with Kibosh, and Kibosh is the Greater Wellington organisation based down in Lower Hutt that accesses many of those foods, and there are providers here in Upper Hutt that access food from Kibosh to give out to the community.
So just, Chief, can I just comment on that? The report is that Kibosh are actually having to ration the food that they collect. So they go around and collect from restaurants, hospitality centres, supermarkets, etc. But because of the increasing demand, they're finding they have to rationalise for all the service providers that actually distribute the food. So that is going to become an issue as well. So yeah, I just found that out last week at Timberley Community Centre Trust Board meeting.
Further questions? Councillor Alter.
Through you, Chair, I just wanted to ask the director about community gardens and local food growing. Is there a way to connect with people producing their own food?
Through you, Chair, there is support from the community development team for community gardens. And there is work within that food space around promotion and education around what you can do in your own garden. And obviously over at Lane Street, there's a garden there that supplies fresh vegetables free of charge to Upper Hutt Housing, Upper Hutt Food Bank and other food providers as well, and to the wider public. So there are a number of things happening in that space throughout the community.
Any further questions? No, I'll move that report be received and I've seconded. Councillor Carson, all in favour?
Aye.
Passed. We go to item 6, Director's Report on Planning Regulatory Services. Want to do a brief?
Yes, I will. Thank you, Chair. Look, this week we commenced the IAMS accreditation assessment. Sorry, this is in relation to para 27 onwards. And look, it's unaudited. We've got our wrap-up meeting tomorrow afternoon, but thus far our unaudited outcome so far is actually currently sitting at 4 general non-compliances, of which we're anticipating 2 of those will be resolved tomorrow morning, leaving us with 2, and 6 recommendations, which are effectively sort of optional suggestions. And sorry, I don't have the stats in front of me from the last report, but that we're significantly, it's a significant state from where we were at this point last time. So a lot can happen overnight, and it is unaudited, but I just wanted to bring that feedback back to you all.
Questions on the floor?
With the present governments putting the ECNA on hold, will we contact the ECNA people that have been potentially affected as we went through that process? Will we let them know that is it worth doing that? Let them know that it's on hold, or we're waiting for some direction from government, but nothing's happening?
Yeah, through you, Chair. Yes, certainly. Certainly, I'll bring some content around that policy framework and what the evolving signals, including ECNA, are from central government and how that relates to our district plan program. I'll certainly bring those in the paper to policy committee. Yeah, but absolutely, we'll think about community, particularly for plan changes like that are currently sitting on hold. What does that mean for the future?
Still the law for now, though, isn't it?
Sorry, sorry.
Still the law now for now.
It is.
The minister got in trouble for saying stop, but then
It
it's
is.
still, yeah.
Correct.
Any other questions? No.
Happy to move.
No. Got a mover, Councillor Bentley, the seconder, Mayor Cathy, all in favour?
Aye.
Yeah. We'll go to Director's report on item 7, strategy, partnerships and growth. I shall open to the floor of questions. Any questions from anyone? Just want to note, in 72, And the amount of water tanks are actually sold, I thought it was quite phenomenal. Whether anyone thought that we're going to run out of water with leaks and that, but 1,000%, which was great. You know, if we keep that up, then people certainly won't be using so much water out of bulk water supply. So, but
I don't think it would make a difference to you. It's for emergencies, isn't it?
well, they'll be taking in the garden and you know, things like that. That's the idea. So, Councillor Carson.
Para 16, council is required by NZTA to seek legal requirements, transparency of our contract information. And procurement strategy, I presume that's on the website. What are the issues involved in this? How come we don't seem to have followed the legal requirements? Is that what is implied by this paragraph, please?
Through you, Chair, it is just a check with our communications team supporting the operational roaming team to ensure that the information is as it should be. It's not particular gaps. We're just working to ensure that's the case and improve what we have available if needed.
Is this done on a regular basis for each year? Or is this the first time that you've done the check?
Through you, Chair, I believe it's just a standard practice of improving and checking our processes to ensure they're meeting requirements.
Okay. Okay.
Any other questions? Councillor Beckman?
Yeah, Longhorns, did they end up finding a new location at all, or did they close their that?
Does it mean that their gaming machines are lost to the community?
Yep. So was there nothing happening behind that?
Separate, isn't it?
Is that different? Yeah. Oh, okay, I saw that on the Facebook page. So, okay.
I couldn't find you. I'm going to go over here.
That's totally different part of something.
I'm a big dog.
Okay. Chair, another question. You, Councillor Gary?
Yeah, so similar question to the integrated transport strategy, the city centre strategy. The work that, I know we're shelving it or stopping it, the work that's been completed today, will we get that summarised at all from our contractors?
Through you, Chair, yes, so the last version of the strategy work to date that came up to council is the strategy on a page discussion that happened towards the end of November last year. Based on council direction from that, there wasn't a lot of further development work because at that point, the work done up to get it to that strategy on a page point, the next key step was going out for further engagement with the community, and that's the point where the council direction came through to delay it at first and then to now put a hold on the work. So at this point, it hasn't progressed significantly in any way since you last saw it in November, and that is essentially the point at which it's been captured and rolled up in its current form to be considered in future as and when we have opportunity to do so, but there's not been any further development on that.
And contractually, when we say stop work, do we then stop paying, or do we have to be paying for work that we didn't do?
Through you, Chair, the procurement up to the point of the work carried out to date has been resolved and completed, and we've paid for work completed, but there's no ongoing.
There's no obligation to pay out for lost work.
Paragraph 26, Maidstone and Sports Hub Community Celebration. A little bit disappointed that paragraph mentioned a number of clubs who had stalls at Maidstone Park and to show what they could offer. So I would have thought that would have been mentioned in that paragraph as well.
Is there a notable example that you can give us?
Upper Hutt Bowling Club.
Any other questions? Other questions? Okay, do I have a mover?
Yeah, having moved.
Councillor Guthrie, you would second it, Councillor Holmes, all in favour?
Aye.
Aye, pass. That brings us to the end of our meeting. I'll close the meeting at 4:51. I'd like to thank everyone for participating. Thank you.